In this tutorial, I'm going to demonstrate doing a WordPress manual installation on a cPanel shared hosting service. So you may want to do this if you find yourself in a situation where you're not able to use a WordPress auto installer to successfully deploy a WordPress site. So this can be through the Softaculous software installer or any other WordPress auto installer that you have available. So I'm basically going to show you the steps you need to take to successfully deploy a WordPress site by taking a manual approach. You can also follow the steps covered in this tutorial if you intend to deploy WordPress on a dedicated VPS. But first, let's go through the overview of the steps covered in this guide. So first, I'm going to show you how to download WordPress from the official download page. Once that has been done, I'll proceed to log into my cPanel account and create a subdomain that I'll actually use to complete the setup. But you actually don't need to create a subdomain if you intend to use a root domain. Once that has been done, I'll then proceed to use the cPanel database creation wizard to create a database for the WordPress site. Once the database is created, I'll proceed to upload the WordPress application files to the website document root using the cPanel file manager. And once I've done that, I'll then proceed to complete the WordPress installation using the famous WordPress post installation wizard. And as a bonus, I'll also show you a few customizations and adjustments that you can actually do to your WordPress dashboard once you've completed your installation. So I'm going to go ahead and run a Google search for WordPress download. In the return result, I'll click on the first option, which will actually lead to the WordPress download page. I'll proceed to click on the download WordPress button, and as you can see, the WordPress zip file is actually now being downloaded. So I'm currently downloading version 6.8.1, which should be the latest stable version at the time of publishing of this video. You can see that I also have this zip file within the downloads directory on my computer. So I'm going to go ahead and access my cPanel account and click on the domains option. Click on create new domain and then enter the subdomain that you want. In my case, it's going to be example.buildsoftwebservices.org. Once that is done, I'll then proceed to click on the submit button to create the subdomain. So this does take a few seconds, and you just need to be patient for the process to complete. I'm then going to create a new text file named database credentials, and I'm actually going to be storing the database credentials for the database that I'm going to create in the next step. So I'm actually going to save the database name, the database username, and the database password, and I'm just going to specify some variables here within the text file. So it's just going to be database name, database username, and database password. And once the database is created, I'll then come back and fill up the values for these three items. So I'm going to save the changes here and then switch back to the cPanel dashboard. I'm going to expand the databases section and then click on the database wizard option. So I need to enter a database name here. So I'm actually going to be using the Avast password generator tool to generate some random strings that I'll use to create the database. So I'm going to generate a random string now, and then simply click on the copy button to copy the random string. I'll then switch back to my cPanel account and paste the random string and click on the next step button. So I now need to create the database user. But before that, let me just copy the database name and actually save it in the database credentials text file that I created earlier. I'll then switch to the Avast password generator and generate some random strings. Switch back to the cPanel dashboard and paste in the random string on the username field. I'll then copy the username and then paste that in the database credentials text file. Once that is done, I'll then switch back to the Avast password generator and then generate another random string. I'll copy that string and then paste that on the password field in the database wizard. I'll then save that in the database credentials text file as well. So finally, click on the Create User button And then you also need to click on the all privileges checkbox. So to actually give the user the necessary privileges that are needed by WordPress. So once this is done, we now have the database set up, and we also have the credentials saved in the credentials text file. So I'm going to go ahead and access the cPanel file manager and upload the WordPress application files. So click on select file and then choose the WordPress 6.8.1 zip file that you actually downloaded earlier. So as you can see, the upload is now in progress. And once it's done, I'm then going to move back to the directory and actually extract the zip file. So we now have a WordPress directory that actually contains all of the WordPress files. So I'm just going to delete the zip file, and then I'll select all of the WordPress files. Actually, before that, let's just delete the well-known and CGI bin directories, as I feel I actually don't need those. So I'm going to switch back to the WordPress directory, and then I'll select all of the files, and I'm just going to move them to the root directory. So you simply need to click on the Move Files button. And once that is done, you can simply delete the WordPress directory that you had earlier. So there you have it. So we now have all of the WordPress application files that are critical to run a WordPress site. So I'm going to go ahead and access the WordPress installer and then choose a language. I'm going to click on the Let's Go button. Then we need to populate the database credentials. So I'm going to go ahead and copy the database name and then paste that into the database name field. I'll copy the database username and then paste that into the username field. And I'll also copy the database password and also paste that into the password fields and click on the Submit button. Click on the Run Installation button and just set the site title, username, password, as well as the email address that you want to have on your WordPress site. And once that is done, you can then proceed to log in using the credentials that you specified. So there you have it. So we now have full access to the WordPress backend for the site. So there are a few customizations that I usually like to do after installing WordPress. First, let's take a look at the default themes that we've got. And you can see that we've got the 2025, 2024, and 2023 default WordPress themes. And let's just take a look at the WordPress front end as well. And let's see. Let's first customize the dashboard. So I like to disable the default widgets that are on the WordPress dashboard so that I just have a clean slate to start from. I'll then go to the theme section and I'll just remove the other default themes that are actually on the WordPress site. So I'll delete those and then I'll add a new theme. So you can choose any theme that you want to use here. So in my case, I'm just going to choose to install Astra. So once the Astra installation is done, I'll then proceed to activate the theme. I'll then close out of there and then remove the 2025 theme, which was actually the default theme that WordPress had set. So now that we have a theme, let's just check if we've got any posts. I'll actually go ahead and delete the default posts that WordPress created. And I'll just empty out the post that I deleted from the trash. I'll then proceed to check the comment section just to see if we don't have any spammy comments there. And I'll also check the pages section and delete all of the default pages that WordPress created. I'll also empty out the trash so that we have a clean WordPress installation in terms of posts and pages. So once that has been done, I'll then proceed to check the plugins and I'll just remove all of the default plugins that were actually installed by WordPress. And once that has been done, I'll also check the profile. And I'll also proceed to set a modern color scheme. And then I'm also going to set my name as well as my last name there. and then click on the update profile button. So we now have a modern color scheme for the WordPress dashboard. So the final thing that I'm going to do is to change the permalinks to post name, then click on save changes. So basically, these are the few post installation customizations that I do. Obviously, there's a lot more that you can do, but I just thought to show you some of the few things that you can also do. So there you have it. That's a quick look at how you can do a WordPress Maya installation on a cPanel shared hosting service or on a dedicated VPS. Please consider to like and subscribe to the channel, and please consider to share this video with your peers, colleagues, and friends. I hope this tutorial has been informative, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.